In my last video, I showed you how to create Claude Code skills. Today is the part nobody actually explains: when to use what. Skills, subagents, hooks, each does one job well, but if used in the wrong way, can cost you tokens, time, and can actually perform a scan that you are not supposed to run. And the main rule for this video, I'm going to test everything locally against my local machine, and I own it, so I'm authorized to test it. And the whole video is just in 3 words. Skills are how Claude knows your method and runs it in front of you. Subagents are how you delegate when something's running on the background and you only see the outcome, the result. Hooks are how you enforce something. Code that runs no matter what the model decides. Know, delegate, enforce, one at a time. And we'll start from skills. I think skills sometimes people actually overuse, and knowing when to stop is actually important. So you need to use skills only in situations where your methodology and everything that is going on is really important to you, and you should see everything what is running and how it runs. Also, when you're not so sure about how it runs, so you can always stop it or tune it up. Let's see actually the skill itself. As you can see, it consists from the name, which is the one that you're gonna run, command with a /recon, description, which is pretty basic, then what is it about, different phases, literally anything that you would like to put in here, and everything that you think is really important. And also what is cool, I'm using some scripts if those are available, and those scripts can also save some context without putting a lot of text or scripts inside of a skill itself, without making it bloated. What is else that I think is important, that only the metadata, these two, are loaded. Everything else will be only loaded into the context whenever you actually run the skill. This means that if you have different scripts, or for instance you have some references, those are pretty important, and those should be out of the skill itself in a separate file. Maybe you want to use some specific custom word list, you want to put that in references, not in the skill. Also, why do I have some scripts? Because scripts can also save you context, and because the script runs and you only have the output and it costs 0. So we want to make sure that everything we use in a script is really important for us. So when actually is the perfect time to stop using skills and start running delegation like subagents, is when you don't really need to see anything that is going on. For instance, like in this case, I have the enumeration, create enumerate agent for enumerate skill. So when you don't want to use agents is specifically the time you want to be out of control and you don't really care what's going on, you just need the result. And this is the case that I can show you. I wanted the enumeration, but I don't like to see the output, and I don't want my context be bloated with the word lists or things like that. I just want the output and the summary, everything that was found, right? And this is where subagents can be really helpful, and you should always use the subagent in these situations instead of a skill. So in my opinion, subagents is actually something that people underuse in their daily routines. And what I mean by that is subagent is really cool. It's perfect for situations when you don't really need to know the context. You don't really care about the work it does. You just want the result. Like you're doing the code review, you're doing some quick actions, or searching for something. You don't really care about the commands that Claude is going to use to find some specific line in your code, right? You just want the result. So This is where subagents, they take zero context, they just do the task and give you the output, and only the output will be in your context, which makes perfect sense when you would like to minimize your token usage. And I think this is the win, right? Because why would you use the recon skill if you can use the recon subagent, which pretty much does the same, get me all the subdomains or things like that. I can just run the subagent, which will enumerate every subdomain, maybe brute force them, and just give me the output of the subdomains, maybe with IP addresses, maybe without. It's up to me. It will save me a lot of time and tokens. And subagent is pretty much the same in terms of the structure. There is some metadata, but other than that, it's just going to be a simple description with a body. But you don't really care about this because you can create subagents from your skills. You can ask Claude to create a subagent from literally a single prompt. So skills and subagents, they all share the same problem and the same weakness. They can run pretty much anything, but the model can accidentally run it against a target, for instance, that you don't want to be scanned, or you forgot that it's not in scope. So in that situation, hook is something that's going to be enforcing that behavior and checking whether it's allowed or not. Like in this case, as you can see, the status of guard. So I tried to scan something that is actually not in scope, and in this case, it was blocked. This test was blocked, and this is the explanation how it works for me. And I think it's pretty cool that you can have always a guardrail that prevents you from scanning something that is not in scope. So you should use hooks in situations when you want some logs. So it must happen, it must be logged, and the scoping. So there's supposed to be a scope, and it must be in scope, and it should be verified whether it's a approved target or not. So you have all those things and engagement nodes. You can check engagement nodes when everything was running, which ports were open. What do you want to see? The authorized scope. So how everything works, this is the hook, and this hook is going to be run every time when I'm running some tools. To log a command, to check whether it's in scope or not. These are pretty basic and pretty simple. Claude just made them from simple description. But of course, if you want advanced stuff, you can always do that because those are just the scripts. And here's the beauty of everything. Because of this hook, I don't really care and I don't need a supervision when Claude's running something. So it means skills can be put in the subagents. So they can run automatically, and I'll be sure that everything runs according to the scripts and runs against an approved set of targets. One engagement and every tool on its place. Recon kicks off, it loads the methodology, does the job, so it knows how to scan. Every command hits my hooks, meaning that everything that I'm running will be double checked if it's something that is in scope or not. And then enforce using the hook will also make sure that I have proper logs for everything that I run. And then subagent parts for the scanning, which takes some time and a lot of context, but I don't really need to see any of that output. I just need the result. And using the subagent, which means the delegate, I can get a lot of information in a summary view, and this makes it really important for me. So again, for just the cheat sheet skills, no, Claude does the work. You watch, scripts run free, documents cost tokens only when read for token and live targets. So subagents are delegate, use when the result, isolated context, returns a summary, runs in parallel for bulk noisy work, 3 to 5 read only. Hooks enforce a rule that can not be optional. Code blocks the exit code 2, pre-tool use for scope, post-tool use for log. Yeah, and I think it's pretty interesting to play with it. If you have something like a skill, for instance, which does the recon job, but think for a second, maybe it's not supposed to do the skill. Maybe it's supposed to be in a subagent. So pick one skill, play with it, make it a subagent if you don't really need to see the information on your screen and you just want to see the output. Then use something like hook to make it pre-tool use, to make sure that you're running it against the authorized target, and the post-tool use to make sure everything is in the log file and you can actually see it after your test is done. And drop a comment below. I'm curious to hear your stories. Maybe I missed something and you have a proper way of running those tools that you can share with the community. See you in the next one. Bye.